Goodness gracious.
We are back. I'm thinking we're back.
I think Matt, I think in many ways we never went away, but now we're different than ever. Folks,
back and more different than ever.
That's right. Folks, if you're watching this, then you already know the news. Bobby Sheehan has passed away.
Yes.
We decided that, along with our dearly departed ginger friend, we're also going to bury locker room talk.
Yes. Yeah, we felt like if Bobby Sheehan wasn't going to be here anymore, then the greatness of Bobby Sheehan is gone. The greatness of locker room talk should also
locker
be
room
gone.
talk will always be the house that Bobby, Matt, and Joe built.
Yes.
And now that Bobby's gone, we shouldn't live in that house anymore. It's
Exactly.
weird. It's weird, to live in a house when somebody's not there.
Yeah.
Like, when my parents got divorced, my dad
Right.
moved out of the house. We stayed in the house, but it was weird. Dad's not there.
Yeah.
You got to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, Bobby was he was more the zaddy of locker room talk more than the dad, but yeah.
Look how Bubs is sinisterly sitting on the side of the couch.
It is like that's a real evil man's cat move.
It's a gargoyle of a cat,
Yes.
dude. It is a gargoyle of a cat.
Yes. So locker room talk is dead and buried, and this is going to be, I guess, our transition episode next week. If you guys stay subscribed to everything, it's going to be a new show on the YouTube channel, on the Instagram, on the Twitter. It is the Buff Boys featuring Matt Maran and Joe Gorman.
That's right. We're rebranding, and we decided to just make it a completely accurate title this time.
Yes, yeah. Locker room talk was a little bit. Are we really three guys who would end up in a locker room together?
Well, we'd all be in the locker room for three vastly different reasons.
Yes.
So
Bobby's
one
the
of us
towel boy.
Oh, well, I thought he was cruising.
Oh, he's he's cruising.
He's offering to lather people up in
Yes,
the showers.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like the old guy that walks around naked and makes everyone uncomfortable, but I'm super comfortable with my body and nudity.
I'm the guy who's like only on the team because he's able to make everyone laugh, even though he's not actually as athletic as everyone else.
Yeah, you're like the charming bench warmer.
Yep,
You're the bench warmer with a spotlight.
That was always. I mean, early on for most sports, I was playing. Everyone plays. At a certain point, when it became really about skill, then I became like either the charming bench warmer / like the tough one.
So did your parents make you play sports, or did you like beg your parents to?
No, I always wanted to play everything.
Damn.
My dad was like into baseball, so he would take me out to play catch. I think it was just one of those things of like, what do I do with my son? All right, we'll go play baseball. We'll watch baseball, and then I just became like obsessed with sports.
Our dads were like the last generation where it's like, well, my dad told me to do this, so I guess I got to do this with my son.
Yeah,
and it's like, take you out and play catch, sign you up for the Boy Scouts. My dad was like twisting my arm to get me to sign up for the Boy Scouts. You ever have to do that shit?
No, I didn't do any Boy Scouts.
You're lucky, dude. I didn't do that shit either, but like my dad was so disappointed that I never signed up for it. And then lo and behold, man, like 2 years later, all those news reports came out of Scoutmasters molesting the Boy Scouts. I was like, damn.
No, my parents never pressured or forced me into anything.
Really?
My dad was like a classical musician, so my brother I think had like some music stuff. My dad never like tried to teach us music even. If we wanted to, he would have.
My dad immediately like signed me up for baseball.
Yeah.
My sister did soccer, but my sister like liked sports.
Yeah.
I hate it. Dude, sports, like, it cut into my video game and TV time.
Yeah, your sister's older, right?
No, younger, dude. She looks older.
Yeah. No, because I was the older sibling, so I think my brother did Little League Baseball, too, for a couple years. He hated it, but I think it wasn't like my parents tried to force us both to play baseball. I think I was doing it, and it was like, this will be a thing that we can all do together.
All the Maran boys.
Yeah. He didn't. We said we would say he played second base, not the position, the actual base, because he just sat at second base.
Nice.
There was one play, I specifically remember this, where someone hit a ball past him, and all the other kids on the team look at him, and he's just sitting down, and he looks at all his teammates, and he just points at the ball like, there it is, go get it. What are you looking at me for?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. And then as I got older, amateur wrestling I was actually good at. Once I started doing that, I trained. I did a judo class with like an after-school program, and then for amateur, because the other side of it is if you're like, most of the kids don't want to get hurt when they're playing sports, and I was just like psychotic, so I would be willing to get hurt, and that kind of gives you an advantage also over kids who may be more athletic or stronger or bigger, faster. Is that I played once they started having tryouts in Little League Baseball. I just switched to catcher because no one wanted to play catcher, and I would always be on a team as a catcher. And when you're a catcher in Little League Baseball, you're not that good yet, so you're just getting hit constantly. You're not catching them yet. So I just come home with like bruises. I was a goalie in a roller hockey team for a couple of years because I was the only kid who wouldn't move out of the way when the ball was shot to him. So just, by being willing to be a glutton for punishment, that kept my athletic career going for a bit. And then when it comes to amateur wrestling, that's like all toughness.
My dad would make me do those batting cages as a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember I fucking broke my thumb because like the fucking
At the batting
the
cage.
ball was like hardball, soft, slow pitch, but it just like collided with my thumb and just smashed it. Dude, I hated baseball. I was so afraid of the ball because the ball fucking hurt, dude.
Yeah.
I remember I wish they gave it I wish it was like done with like a rag ball. I feel like I would be into baseball more if it was like a rag ball
Or a rubber band ball.
Yeah, like it's like, dude, make it like a soft ball that like a Nerf ball. Make it with a Nerf ball because honestly, like that would make it like a little more fun because you don't know where the ball is gonna go, and you're less afraid of it, and it forces you to kind of scramble.
Well, you
a
don't
little
play
bit more.
like wiffle ball with friends?
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah,
I could
wiffle
get
ball was fun.
T-ball. I was all about that T-ball, dude.
I've seen on Instagram, you'll see some people who like adults who play wiffle ball, and because the ball is so like light, you can make it move in an insane amount.
Well, Matthew, you also have to remember that adults playing those kinds of they're doing it just to drink.
Yeah,
like it's just like nobody's like actually the fucking art of wiffle ball.
I mean, honestly, there's weirdos out there.
I'm the Cal Ripken of wiffle ball, where I just show up every day to get drunk.
Yeah, I've gotten drunk 2,600 straight days at the wiffle ball tournament.
That's a level of that. That's like Cal Ripken. He's like the boomer athlete because. That's like whatever. That's like what boomers fucking love. I show up and I do my job, and you know what? Some days it's gonna rain. Some days it's I'm not gonna feel like it. But god damn it, I have a job. I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna show up every day and do my job, and everyone fucking loved that.
Yeah,
I remember I watched that game where he broke the record.
Broke the record, yeah,
and like he got like a half-hour applause.
Yeah,
like they stopped the game at the 7th inning because that's when it counted as a full game.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, and he well, because also he broke Lou Gehrig's record, which I still think is more impressive to play every game.
Of not dying of that disease?
Well, I mean, because some of the games he played in a row, he had Lou Gehrig's disease for.
How wild? Like, what is like Lou Gehrig's disease actually? Because it's not
ALS.
That's funny, dude. That's right.
Yeah.
Like,
the whole ice bucket challenge.
Imagine if like AIDS was called Freddie Mercury, right? Like you're just like. Your disease is like you're the coolest guy to get this disease.
Yeah,
you know.
I think it's because
hemorrhoids is like Elton John's.
Yeah,
this is cool, man. Yeah, like an overdose. I guess like overdose is like Winehouse syndrome, where you just like die of it's clear that you're gonna die of a drug overdose.
Yeah,
and then you die of a drug overdose.
Yeah.
The Keith Richards is the opposite, where you look like you're about to die of a drug overdose, but instead you outlive everyone.
Yeah, I like the idea of you getting called into the doctor's office and then them coming up be like, I'm so sorry, your son has Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. It's like, Mama, I'm gonna die. Fucked a man up in his ass.
Yeah, that's how they tell you. They have all the nurses come out and do Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's it, man. That would probably take the edge off of your own mortality.
A little bit, yeah.
I saw like because a couple of the streaming services we have to get commercials. I'm not made out of money.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the new Buff Boys Patreon, folks. I need the money. I need the money. But no, I've seen like a lot of like the HIV medication commercials.
Yeah.
This is terrifying.
Yeah.
Young gay people, Matthew.
Young gay people.
Isn't that wild?
Now?
Like, how are young people like? Because I feel like AIDS and HIV, and this might be me being fucking narrow-minded, cisgendered, but I feel like that's like an old, like in the 70s and 80s, and of course, like in the epidemic of the 90s, it was a bigger problem in the gay community. But then, like, they kind of learn, like, okay, well, let's wear a condom. Hey, Maddie, come here. Everyone's going nuts.
Yeah.
But in the gay community, it was like a bigger problem. But you think like now, like people
younger,
like, well, like if you're like a 20-something, you know, in the 2000s, we were all about like, practice safe sex, be careful, but like they're still getting it. Naughty. Now, do you think it's because older gay men are grooming young gay men and willingly infecting them with AIDS to to, in a way, write their name on them like Andy did with his toys.
You think it's like a passing the torch type thing within the gay community?
Well, how good is gay sex if you're just going to get fucking AIDS? It's like, dude, this is like a surefire thing.
And you still do it?
Dude, like, I once had sex with a girl. Well, don't tell Kelly this, but I once had sex with a girl who was, like, abusing heroin.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
But, like, I was like, oh, shit, what if she had AIDS?
Yeah.
And they were like, it's really hard for a woman to get AIDS.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's like, even if she did have AIDS from, using needles.
Yeah.
It's difficult for a man to get AIDS having vaginal sex with a woman who has AIDS.
Yeah, I had.
It's literally, you literally have to piss off God to get AIDS.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I slept with a girl who later died of a heroin overdose, and I did get STD tested after, just because I was like, hey, maybe. You never know.
Well, just have sex with another girl who gets an STD test.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, what do you think is scarier? Is it scarier for young gay men to get AIDS, or if old straight men started getting AIDS?
Well, clearly, I would be more scared as an older straight man getting AIDS.
Yeah, because
like,
then
what if they're like
it's getting a little closer
to
us.
What if they were like, you saved up?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just that sex with one gay man is the equivalent of having sex with 50 women.
Because it is like kind of scary. Like, wait, young gay men now are getting it, but I'm like, yeah, I still think old straight men getting it would be scarier to me.
Yeah, no, that's true. But like, why? Like, it's like, but like you. It's wild that young people have to take PrEP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, did AIDS or just some of these diseases that we have a lot of now, do they always exist? And we just like discovered them now?
Well, a lot of things are like mutations of
because
like diseases like everything else kind of mutate and change
and
evolve. Now they'll tell you that's the thing with COVID, but COVID has to be real first for it to change and evolve.
Exactly. Is that one?
It's just a proposition.
Because that's
Finn's been on a fucking eating hair kick lately.
Eating hair?
Yeah, he
like
eats
your hair?
Yes, he'll like crawl into the bed and start chewing on my hair.
Yeah.
And Dad doesn't like that, Finn.
Because that's what I was thinking. Like, I thought I'm like Lou Gehrig playing in 2,000 straight games. Even though Cal Ripken did like what surpassed him. I feel like in the 1930s, it seemed like there was just so much more risk for like disease and all this stuff. Yeah, and it feels like more impressive to do it in the 1920s and 30s and the 90s.
Then you like say like, well, back in the days, like people weren't getting like type 2 diabetes as much, and like the cancer risks weren't as high, and like heart disease wasn't as prevalent. So but there's also stuff like people were definitely dying of like pneumonia and smallpox. So
and also sports, the game itself wasn't as advanced, so guys probably weren't getting hurt as much because all those guys had to play every day, or they just didn't get paid. And then as time goes on, it's like they give guys rest days now, which just never existed in the past.
Without getting too conspiracy theory, like it's like how much of humanity is supposed to be around like this much like carbon dioxide from cars and the pollution of like big city and like all these radio waves and radio signals. Like I don't think it's like necessarily bad for you, but I don't think it's great for you.
You think all the best athletes of one day are going to all be people from rural areas because everyone who's in a city is taking in too much fucking...
I mean, I feel like at this point, like because of all the technology, like there's just like a low level of radiation that everyone's affected.
Yeah.
It's just how affected is everyone else.
Yeah. Every once in a while when you hear one of those stories of like some athlete who just like grew like a Brock Lesnar, just that human being was just on a farm in South Dakota.
Right.
And just
like there's like these like, oh, they were drinking like raw milk.
Yeah.
And fucking grass-fed beef.
Yeah, or just
every day.
Yeah, there was a story. I don't remember all the deal, but Walter Johnson, it was a baseball pitcher from like the early 1900s, and he was like on a farm in Idaho. And the Washington Senators, this is Washington, D.C., apparently someone who had played a game with him later made it to the majors and like, this guy throws the ball really fast. And so they sent a scout up there and they saw him throw the ball really fast. And they're like, you should come and play for the Washington Senators. We'll pay for your train ticket there. And he's like, well, will you pay for my train ticket to come back in case I don't make it? And they're like, don't worry, you'll make. He's like becomes one of the greatest pitchers ever. It was just this, because back then you just like it was so like bare bones.
It was different.
You just see a guy who can throw a ball almost 100 miles an hour in 1910. You're just like, you are going to be the best pitcher ever. Like,
yeah.
And it was just some random guy on a farm in Idaho. It's like so wild. Like that guy's life was just, he grew up on a farm. He was going to live. He knew his mom and dad and siblings. He was going to have a wife and kid on a farm, and he was going to die. And that was that was just going to be his life.
That's our alarm system. Come here, Maddie.
Yeah. Maddie.
Maddie, come here. Come here, Maddie. Oh, you know what? She sees the cat.
Oh.
That's what she's going nuts.
Yeah.
Maddie, come here.
Maddie.
Finn, go get Maddie.
Finn, go get Maddie.
He doesn't want to leave. No, I think he'll be okay. Hey, shh. Shh. We're all having a good time, man.
But yeah, that guy was just going to live a totally normal, forgettable life, and then he was just able to throw a ball really fast.
That was like the generation where they started making the change where like, oh, we can become stars.
Yeah.
It was like the 30s was really when like
Well, Walter Johnson was 1910s even, but even then like there were a few like there were some like celebrities.
You live on the farm, you die on the farm, but then it was
that
like
was most of the people's lives.
Elvis did that. He was like on a farm and he got discovered allegedly.
Yeah.
Stealing black people's songs.
Yeah. They saw him on a farm. They're like, he steals black people's songs better than anyone else on this farm.
Ooh, the soul of a black man, but the appearance of a white guy. Everyone wins.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that Elvis movie?
No, I didn't see it.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I never really was like a big there's Quentin Tarantino famously said you're either an Elvis fan or a Beatles fan when it comes to your musical taste.
I guess.
Now you just like the organ at fucking baseball games.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the.
You're just like you just care about like
who sings "Take Me Out to the Ball Game"?
That and Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah, big Cotton Eye Joe fan. Is that like a thing of like Beatles and Elvis as far as whatever you like now is a derivative of one of those?
I think that's just like the that was like the generation.
Yeah.
You know, it was like
yeah.
You either liked Elvis Presley, and I think it was usually the guys liked Elvis and the girls liked the Beatles.
Okay.
But then like I don't know, my dad liked the Beatles.
Yeah, my dad was like I have an older dad, so he was already like in his like late teens.
Wait, how old is your dad now?
78.
My dad's like around 78, 79.
Okay.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, this is my dad when he was a classical musician, so when the beat so he was almost like kind of like wanted to be like snobby about any like modern music.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like the Beatles, they're fucking pop, whatever. And he said he was at Juilliard one time and someone was playing something that he thought sounded beautiful, and he went and he's like, "What is that?" And it was like, "Let It Be."
Oh damn. That's
and so
popular ass Beatles song.
yeah.
Well, they did start out like super poppy, and then they just one of the few bands that like success maybe you could argue that made them better.
Yeah, Elvis's thing was kind of he had like a couple of years of being really edgy, successful, and then as he got more successful, he was just kind of doing the kind of like movies that nobody ever remembers. Some of the stuff that I think artistically people don't look back on as fondly. A lot of later Elvis stuff.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I think Fat Vegas Elvis had his charm too.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I got a residency, baby. I can take it easy.
Yeah.
There's something charming about that.
Yeah.
Now, like that's what everyone wants to have is a Vegas residency. I'd love a Vegas. How cool would that be if we had a fucking locker room talk Vegas
Buff
residency?
Boys.
Yeah. Oh, fucking Buff Boys. My God.
That's what this little
this is
transition video is for us to get all the mistakes out.
Yeah, exactly. You get a little behind the scenes as we fucking tighten it up and figure out. So we're definitely doing Skankfest next year.
Yes, absolutely.
Lewis confirmed on the latest Real Ass podcast.
He did.
He did. Well, he said I can come. Just like I have to talk to him.
Okay.
I'm gonna be more assertive next time because I keep thinking like, oh, it's gonna happen, and then Lewis was like, just remind me. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the one you guys did in Houston, I wasn't booked on it, but I was gonna just fly out for it, and then last second I was like, I don't know, I just didn't do it.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then like the day I get a text that was like offering me spots on shit. If you just go, if I went, if we went, even if we weren't booked, we would get spots on it.
Well, we're definitely getting up next time.
Yeah. I think it's going to be in Vegas again.
No, I think it's going to. Hopefully, it's going to be back in New York.
Oh, I would love that. The New York. I did the last couple.
New York
of New
is
York
more fun,
ones,
dude.
And they were great. Yeah.
I mean, even though like it's like fun to travel sometimes, it's nice to have like a guaranteed like awesome time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, traveling for comedy, it's when you haven't done it a lot, you're kind of like, oh my god, I'm a professional. I'm traveling for comedy.
So last week, Kelly and I traveled for comedy. We went out to Tennessee.
Nice.
We did like this, just like literally
Chattanooga shows.
Well, it was like just a one-off show outside of Nashville, like an hour outside of Nashville.
Nice.
But we flew out at like 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Landed, checked into the motel, like rested for an hour. Drove out to the venue, set up. Kelly did 45 minutes. I did 45 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Then we just drove back, went to Waffle House,
Nice.
went to bed, got up at 3 a.m., and took a 6 a.m. flight back to New York.
Yeah.
It was brutal, but it was so much fun.
Yeah. Did you guys hang around Nashville at all?
We didn't really have a whole lot of time. You know, it was such like a quick
I haven't ever been, but I've heard that that's like such a fun spot now.
Yeah, I definitely, it would have been like, oh, I kind of wish we had, it was awesome, like, it was awesome having such like a fast turnaround that you didn't even have to think about anything. Yeah. You know, it's like, okay, and then this. And then I also got like a 45-minute set, which was cool. And when you take into account like the flight, the drive, all of that, and you still got 45 minutes, like that's like still like a really good ratio to how much stage time you can get in New York sometimes.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so and how was the crowd?
They were like a smaller, more conservative crowd, but I was able to connect with them on a few things. Yeah. It's like, that's like another good thing is like, well, you have to learn how to talk to everyone and stand up, you know, like
for sure.
It's so easy, especially like, you know, I got my start in San Francisco and now I'm doing it here in New York. Like, it's like, look, like, you know, say what you will about like how great the audience is. Like, they're major fucking liberals. Yeah. Like, you can't get too, you can't go so far one way. Yeah. You know, and by that, you know, being conservative or like making like jokes about, you know, conservative shit.
Yeah. And there's also, I think I'll see some comedians kind of like talk about being liberal in their set in a way where it's like, it's not necessary for the jokes they're doing.
Well, it's like they're liberal, but they're terrified of black people.
That too, yeah. There's always, I mean, there's always that, especially like with New York, a lot of like Brooklyn liberals. Right. But I think a lot of times they're like talking about how liberal they're being, and it doesn't they don't need it for the bit. And I'm like, you're just going to potentially alienate people who you might actually be able to connect with. Mm-hmm. But I think for some of them you'll hear them say, I don't want to connect with anybody who feels that way about whatever. And just like,
but that's like, right, you know, but it's like, but then now you're just dealing in absolutes. Yeah. And who does that but a Sith? Yeah.
If you got to know every single member of your audience, you would find things about them you don't like.
Well, in the end, it's like you know, I think people would find that, you know, it's mostly like somewhere in the middle. You know, that's where everyone stands.
Yeah, for the most part.
But you should be able to connect with, like, you know, audiences all over. Yeah. Because in the end, like, there's still people that came out to a comedy show.
Yeah, exactly.
Which at the end means people just came out here to laugh.
Yeah, and
like, I don't think anyone's like, I'm going out here, I'm gonna fuck up a liberal. Yeah. I think they're just like, I want to laugh. I had a rough day, and I just want to unwind.
And I think one thing I like about you, I feel like me and you have this thing that we both enjoy doing comedy. Yeah, wherever we're doing it. And even, I don't care if it's like a terrible open mic in wherever place in the city with nobody's there and there's no energy. I feel like you do this too, and I'm like, I'm going up there with energy, and I'm going to try to do well and have fun doing comedy, because how many people get to do this? Right. And
too many at a mic if you're at a mic.
Yes. But just, you know, get up on stage. Because also so many fucking comedians are like, this is a terrible show, so I'm going to go up there and I'm not going to give it my all, so then I can almost like hedge my own bet and be like, well, it was bad anyway.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, no, just go up and have a lot of energy. And even if you're... one of the first open mics I ever did, my first year doing stand-up, Chris DiStefano dropped in at the end of the mic.
Oh, shit.
And he told a story, and he just talked loudly and didn't stop for like the whole set. And I don't think anyone laughed, but I didn't feel like he bombed.
No, that's the oldest trick in the book. Yeah. The old, don't give them a chance to fucking not laugh. Exactly. Don't even give them a chance to think.
But yeah, it's like fucking, we all got in this because like we like comedy, it's fun, and as you get further along, you'll get better at it. Right. And then I don't care where I am up on stage saying jokes that I know are good jokes that maybe some people will laugh at in front of an audience, and that's a cool thing to be able to do. Yeah. And but yeah, the I don't know. Yeah. So but then doing road shows, it's sometimes when you haven't done it before, it's like, holy shit, I'm going to another state. People are paying me to do this, and then you get there, and sometimes they're not great. A lot of times they're not great.
Most of the time they're not great. A lot of time it's like, well, at least I got like this experience. I got the experience of being on stage for an extended period of time, which is, something that I needed to do.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes I kind of,
Yeah. Yeah, actually getting longer sets is like the big thing.
That's
also.
like the hardest thing. And it's funny because it's just, you go to New York for I want to become a better comedian. So you go to New York.
Yeah.
But you become a better comedian in like 2.5 minute chunks.
Yeah.
Because you don't really, you really have to. I almost had to relearn how to do my 15 minutes, because for so long it had been like, oh, I just learned how to do like these 2.5 minute sets.
Yeah, even because I started in New York, even when I started, I was writing more one-liners anyway. But now, even when I come up with bits, like my bits are mostly like shorter bits.
Yeah.
Sometimes I did a storytelling show like a week or so ago, and it was I just told the brain surgery story, and like for that I have like a full like 8 minute. It's probably like 8 to 10 minute thing. But even still within that, it's like very punchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then I'll see like fucking when I watch like one of those old Jim Jeffries specials where he does like a 30-minute story. I'm like, I have no idea how to even fucking
begin
start.
on that. Yeah. Well, and like it's like how did they? Because I heard when like Ali Wong was working on her Netflix special, like she had to like chop it up and do it in bits throughout LA because. There's just nowhere
Shorter
to really
sets,
you can't work an hour somewhere.
Yeah.
Without like renting out like a theater.
Right.
But, who's going to rent out a theater to open and like there's no way you can also retain an audience for a full hour workshopping something. So you have to workshop it in bits.
Yeah.
And then kind of like weave it all together.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. But we're the Buff Boys. We got this.
Yeah, we can do anything. Now, is Dangerfield's reopening?
I heard that. Yeah.
Is it, or is there just like a photo of Dangerfield?
I saw a photo, and I saw like one comic who I think used to be like used to like work in comedy clubs say something about it, but I don't know if it's real or not.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? It just depends on who the owners are.
Right.
But I wouldn't mind. Like, that'd be funny to see like a wave of like those influencer comics like filming their little like 30-second crowd work specials at Dangerfield's.
Yeah. Dangerfield's was the first club I think I did a spot at. It was the first comedy club I did stand up at.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I had done like open mics at like New York Comedy Club and all, but I think my first like real spot at a club was at Dangerfield's. And I remember at the time I knew it wasn't what it was, but it still felt cool. This is the place where like Kinnison and Dice were discovered, and then like you get there and it was so bad. So much that I feel like that's so much of what comedy is all the things that if you were to ask me when I first started, like of all these things, would this be cool? Would this be cool? Would this be cool? I would say yes, and I've done so many of those, and I've only ever gotten them after the point I realized they're not as cool as I thought they were.
Yeah.
Which I guess is kind of good, because I think when you get stuff that you think that like you kind of get a big head about things. When you get all these things, you're like, holy shit, I'm a big fucking deal. But at this point, I was in the New York Times, and I'm like, it's cool, but I don't give a shit.
Eventually, you just realize it's just a thing.
Eventually, you realize everything is pointless.
Yeah, it's like,
That's
well,
where you get to eventually.
It's like how, you like this is cool to you, but, who's going to care in like a generation?
That's the thing,
2
too.
generations.
Yeah.
Look at I just read like Alex Trebek, his multi-million-dollar mansion, a mansion that he's lived in like 40 years.
Yeah.
Like, and that he was like infamous for, not infamous, but like he was known for like, if something was broken, he would fix it himself. He invested like all of his money, all of his time, like designing it. He did like all the landscaping
of like anything in his home.
All of it. Like he just really took care of it.
Yeah.
He owned it. And
I think you were
going to
call that infamous. That's how lazy you are. In your mind, it's
infamous.
It's a terrible negative trait to be fixing.
He was infamously fucking trimming his bushes and mowing his lawn with sinister intent.
Infamously taking care of the things in his life.
Yeah, but when he died, nobody bought the house. They ended up demolishing it.
Really?
And like all that, all those like generations and like, so much passion and effort.
Was he like fixing everything for someone to eventually buy it?
I think it was just for him, So in the end, it's like, okay, but, sometimes it's like all the stuff you invest in, like once you're gone, like, well, then who's it for?
Yeah.
And that's like, but also at the same time, it doesn't matter. You're not here.
Yeah.
What do you care?
Yeah, exactly.
But What do you want a legacy?
Cal Ripken and Lou Gehrig's legacies will live on forever.
The dude who fucking banged Marilyn Monroe and died.
That was Joe DiMaggio.
Oh, fucking thank God. Damn, what if he got like what if she was like the Catherine Zeta-Jones, only instead of getting throat cancer from eating her pussy, you get Lou Gehrig's disease? Right? What's wrong with your pussy, Marilyn?
Yeah.
But that's how both the Kennedy brothers died.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, so you weren't really a sports guy at all growing up.
Man.
Yeah.
I never got into that. My dad would take me to baseball games and I'd be so bored with it. You know, it's like 'cause it's like so long. I didn't understand. I hated baseball. I thought I was like, "Oh my God." And like dad would be like, I got his tickets for the Royals, and I was just like, "Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, I got to be in there for." And like, dude, 3 hours to a kid feels like a lifetime. Yeah. You know. It's like we can do 3 hours standing on. Well, like also we have our smartphones, and more importantly, we can get fucking drunk. Yeah. You know, that's like the biggest thing.
Some days there was a date, like a summer camp I went to, and we would go to like Mets games sometimes. Mm-hmm. But because we had to like be back on the bus at a certain time, we would never stay for the full games. So I was the opposite of you, and it was like we were going to a game. I was always so mad that we were leaving before the game was over. I was so sports obsessed, but I didn't get into like once I started doing amateur wrestling, and even for the other sports, you practice the sports. Amateur wrestling was the first sport I played where I did like real conditioning, like exercising workouts. I still wasn't like weightlifting at all. But it was just like the conditioning for wrestling is pretty ridiculous. And you were doing things that were working on your strength. Yeah. But some of it was also, you know, I couldn't like build muscle because one, I was like 13, 14 years old when I was doing it. And also I was like you were in a weight class back then. This is like the Greco-Roman freestyle wrestling. And then once I started doing pro wrestling, also I grew up watching like pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. So my senior year of high school, your gym class was always like a category. So it was like lacrosse gym or tennis gym or whatever. And once I got to choose my own, my senior year, I took weight training, and it was just like, finally, I get to be big like these wrestlers I know. The only thing that I had strong legs, so I played catcher in Little League baseball. That was like, because everyone else was like stronger than me, even in my high school. So everyone else would go to the bench press and do all the other stuff. And I always felt like weird and left out. But then
you go to the squat rack and show them what's up.
No, we didn't have a squat rack, but we had that was probably still too much for like we weren't doing deadlifts or squats for like high school kids. That probably wasn't happening.
You should be teaching kids that stuff though.
We did bench press, but they didn't have like they had a leg press machine. And I remember I was able to leg press, I think it was like 360 or 450. It was one of those, like, first time I was like one of the highest leg presses, and my highest one that I could do higher than everybody else was the calf raises, where you put like the seated calf raises, you sit down, you put the little like cushion over your knees, and there's like a pole that you would put like the 45-pound plates on, and I would put one on there and then have my friends stand on it and just lift them with my calves.
Why is it that it's always like these like regular ass high school teachers that are fucking the students? How come it's not the coach? Because like the coach seems like
the coaches
they have access to like the best pussy.
You'd think they know who's in the best shape.
You know what? But it's all, you know what? I bet the coach is more noble.
Probably.
The coach has more noble dreams than a fucking science teacher.
Yeah. Did any of the teachers...
The coach still thinks he could go pro.
Yeah.
So he's like, I got to abstain. But like the science teacher's
the coach is afraid of getting canceled.
Yeah.
Because he thinks he still has an athletic career in the future.
The English teacher's like, I'm never going to publish this book. I might as well fucking finger this chick.
Yeah. Did you have any teachers who you had growing up that ended up, you found out sleep with a student?
Nah, they were all uggos.
Yeah, I had two. I had an English teacher and then a dean, both in my junior high school, same school.
They were dudes?
Yep. Two dudes. One of them, I think his thing was that he had like made inappropriate comments and was kind of creepy. And then the dean at my junior high school, he full on had like a year-long relationship affair with this 15-year-old girl.
Nice.
Paid for her abortion.
How romantic.
It was a whole article about it. I was like, that was a big one. Yeah. He was like the cool dean too.
He was, of course. He fucking knocked up a 15-year-old. You don't get much cooler than that.
I remember I was in detention every week back then, and he would be in the detention too, and he would come sit next to me. We would talk like Yankees baseball.
He'd sit in the chair backwards and be like, "Hey, can I rap with you?"
Yeah, he turned his
He
hat
fucking.
backwards.
He was like, "Hey, smell this finger."
Yeah,
and you were like, "Whoa, what's that?" He was like, "I'll tell you when you're a little older."
Yeah. But yeah, you so we're calling it the Buff Boys podcast.
Buff Boys.
And Joe, you were like for a while. You told me you were like really into like the bodybuilding forum thing.
I was all about the bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I was always eating like tuna fish and shit.
What ages is this? This is after you've never been into sports, but what gets you into the bodybuilding forums?
I was just trying to like lose weight to be like an attractive guy.
Okay.
Damn,
were
dude,
you like
my
a fat
weight
kid?
wildly fluctuates. I was fat and then I was thin, and I got fat and then I got thin again.
Yeah.
And now I'm fat again, dude. It's like I'm truly like a method actor without any of the fucking movies. Like truly Christian Bale in many ways. I'm anywhere between like 150 to 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah. I think now. So I when I was young, I was like super skinny, and I graduated high school 6'1", 155 pounds. And then over 4 years, I wanted to do steroids, and my coaches wouldn't let me. And
You should have just fucking done it anyway.
I probably could. Well, it was like right after the Chris Benoit thing, and they told me that I would get booked more if I could pass a drug test at the time, which actually, in hindsight,
that just means like pass a drug test. That doesn't mean don't take steroids.
Well, they said they were testing for it, and I think that
Did they ever?
They did, but I think it was bullshit tests because I knew guys on stuff who never got in trouble.
Yeah. It was just sort of like, I mean, like, what are they
It was a PR thing.
It's like, what the fuck are they going to... It's like fucking make-believe. It's not like...
Yeah.
It wasn't like... But then, like, Lance Armstrong, that was fucking cool how he did that.
That was pretty sick.
That was way cool. And then, like, he was, like, bullying the other athletes. But then... Everyone in the fucking Tour de France was like fucking juicing. And you don't think like... When you think like a person that abuses steroids, you literally think like a Hulk Hogan or like the Ultimate Warrior, where they're like abnormally large and shredded.
Yeah.
You don't expect like a 5'4", 120-pound dude.
Well, that
to
was
be on
like
steroids.
when baseball first implemented drug testing. It was like, all right, we're going to start suspending people. And the first guy who got suspended for steroids was like the speedy outfielder who was like 5'10", 180 or something.
It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You don't like, it's just like to keep the muscles from getting to exhaustion. It's like,
well, it's steroids is most of them it's recovery. So like a lot of those big bodybuilders and powerlifters who do steroids, so they're able when they're Mark McGuire's manager at the time did an interview where he was like, I don't think he's on steroids. He works out harder than everybody else. I'm like, yeah, he's able to because he's on steroids. Like that's your muscles recover faster, so you're able to work out more.
Remember, like he also like at one point like Mark McGuire was like, oh, I take creatine. Yeah. And then so like everyone was like, creatine is basically steroids.
Yeah.
So that was like another thing on the forums.
Also,
like all the bodybuilders were like, am I gonna fucking piss hot if I take some creatine?
Yeah. There was like an interview Mark McGuire did just in his locker, and right behind him you see like Andro, a big tub of Andro.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude.
But yeah,
God, I remember that fucking shit. My first job was at GNC.
Yeah.
But I could never zero the register, so they fired me.
I
was having such a hard time, but like I just needed the fish oil.
Yeah. I remember getting fish oil from GNC because my dad had a heart attack and my grandfather died of a heart attack, and I started freaking out and started taking fish oil. But my blood pressure's always been good, and I'm probably fine.
My blood pressure's great, but my fucking cholesterol's high. What does it mean, Matthew?
I don't know.
It's like some shit to do going on with like, I don't know. There's so much nuance with like cholesterol, but I have like a family history of high cholesterol, but not a family history of heart disease.
Yeah.
Well, except for my uncle who died of a heart attack, but that's just him.
Just him.
Just him.
Yeah.
And I guess my dad's on my whole family's on statins.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to take that shit.
Yeah. What's the heaviest you've ever been?
I guess like 220.
Okay. Yeah. My highest I was at like 230.
Yeah. Well, that's not bad at all for your fucking height,
and at the time it was when I was wrestling, and I was like still probably I was pretty big, like bulky big. Yeah. And then just after I stopped wrestling, I would go through phases where because for so many years I was on this like diet and exercise routine that I kind of in my head view food as fuel a little bit. Like I don't have the sometimes I just don't. There's times where I just won't care about eating. I've always kind of worked out at least somewhat. There's never. I think right after I stopped wrestling, there was probably a year or so where I barely worked out, just because I was so happy that I didn't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
But then after that year, when I started just doing push-ups again and doing something, I was like, I'm actually way happier when I'm exercising. I was like first 2 years doing comedy and just miserable about everything. And who know? Actually, in hindsight, who knows if I had been working out, if I might have progressed better in my first couple years of comedy. Now I feel like I have worse sets when I don't exercise.
Yeah, well, that's like that's like what you use to level yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's been interesting since I broke the arm last year. Once that happened and I knew I wasn't going to be able to work out, I just started eating really healthy, thinking, all right, I got to do something because I can't work out. And then once I was able to work out again, I was like, I think I'll just keep eating healthy. So I'm getting in like better shape, and it's just exclusively men saying things about it.
Right. That's how it always is.
Yeah.
Guys will notice, damn, you're looking jacked, bro.
Yep. All that. Gay dudes being very forward in the DMs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let him suck you off, dude.
Yep. I should just let him suck me off.
Fucking, hey, the $50 tier, you can suck off Matt.
There you go. We'll have a new $50 tier for the buff boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was you were just trying to lose weight, and that got you into the bodybuilding.
And then it was like interesting. So I was like, I'm gonna see how much weight I can lift. So I was like lifting weight a little bit in college.
Yeah.
And then like I think I stopped around like freshman year because I was like, okay,
around freshman year of college.
Yeah.
You started and ended.
Yeah.
Just 1 year.
I did what I needed to do, and I was like, you know what? Now I'm just gonna focus on jogging.
Yeah. What were you doing, like lifting wise?
I was like just doing. I did back and buys on Mondays, and then
gotcha.
I had like abs on Friday, and then I did like legs on Wednesday.
Full day for abs.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I was like my roommate. I was just doing what he was doing.
Okay. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I've had
He was like, we gotta do a split. We gotta split it up.
Yeah. I mean, I split it up also, but I just do abs abs are smaller muscles. You can do them every day. But yeah, I would have friends of mine on my college campus. Like when I was on the road, I'd work out with the other wrestlers, and it was just especially when I first started, I was one of the weaker ones. Then even as it went on, I was still like some of these guys were like full on bodybuilders. So I would just kind of do my thing. I think it's actually really good I had that because I never had the ego of like I got to try and lift this like super heavy weight. That's how guys like get hurt anyway. But I was never going to lift more than the other guys I was working out with. But then I would come back to college campus and my roommates or friends would be like, I want to do your workout. And I would do like a moderate workout, but my workouts were like what other wrestlers were doing. So like my friends would be fucking dead by the end of it.
Mere mortals, dude.
Yes. Yeah. Even now, every once in a while, because I'll get guest passes from comedian friends of mine to go to their gym, and anytime they try and shadow me, it's like a day or two later, I'll get a text and they're like, I can't lift my arms.
Nice, dude.
Yeah. We should do a workout. That'll be a Patreon exclusive.
Well, maybe
me and you doing a workout.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I get it. Fucking.
Yeah.
I throw out my back.
Yeah.
Watch me throw out my back. $50 a month.
There you go. Today was a leg day for me.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I just got my little kettlebell, dude. That's all I need.
Yeah, I do kettlebell stuff.
Yeah,
kettlebell stuff's great.
Around.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it is interesting. I would not have pegged you as somebody who was knew as much about bodybuilding stuff as you do.
I'm all about that shit, dude.
Yeah.
Big Ronnie Coleman, dude.
Everyone
Coleman's wants to be a bodybuilder. No one wants to lift heavy ass weights.
Dude, just the memes of some of these guys are just absolutely. I don't get wanting to be that big though.
No, that was never like that. Like defeats the whole purpose of working out, which is to be healthy.
Yeah. That too, yeah.
Like
working out so much that it actually makes you unhealthy.
At the most, you want to look like a fucking Renaissance painting or something.
Yeah.
You know, like that level of shredded where it's like within the realm of possibility. But now it's like some shit's just like unreal.
Yeah.
The aesthetic is Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
Yeah. That's still a little too thin for me. Because I was always super skinny, so I like the way some people who like no matter how in shape they get, they always look in the mirror and see someone who's fat.
Yeah, body dysmorphia.
Yeah, I have that, but I always think I'm weak and skinny.
Yeah.
So like, there's been a few people who, because I've been eating healthier and then working out, there are people who are like, you're getting skinny, and in my head I'm like, please don't fucking say that.
No,
I know
you gotta get some.
I know you mean this as a compliment. No, I mean I'm gonna keep working out and keep eating healthy. So. As the Buff Boys goes on, I'll keep getting buffer. I'm just gonna try. I'm trying to catch up to Joe.
Matt's gonna just start stacking more and more steroids.
Yeah,
catch up, dude.
We'll see. Maybe eventually. I feel like if I get older and I can't do certain things, I could see myself doing TRT. Yeah. If my testosterone levels naturally decline.
Well, that's like everyone's supposed to start doing TRT.
Yeah. But I don't think I would ever.
You can
actually
you can get that from your doctor. It's like they'll give you like a low ass level of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't do like any of these like D-Bol, Deca, Tren, or anything like that.
No, you can just get like a regular ass pill.
But even still, I wouldn't. I don't think I would ever do any of that. Especially, if I was going to, I probably wouldn't have done it when I wrestled. Yeah. And also, I remember at the time my coach saying that the future of wrestling is going to be more athletic builds anyway. And now,
do you believe that?
If you watch it now, it's all like theater kids who do CrossFit.
Yeah, like Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
What's his name's son?
Luke Perry's son. Yeah. Yeah.
Who beat up CM Punk?
No, he didn't.
Didn't he?
No, CM Punk beat him up.
Nice, dude.
Take
that, you little runt. You're dead. Your dad's dead. And
Yeah.
now no one can protect you from this straight edge savior.
Do you know that whole? Do you know that whole story?
I just know I know CM Punk went into AEW.
Well, no, but the thing specifically with Luke Perry's son.
No, I don't know what's going on with their. I don't know what their beef is.
So apparently, the reports were so CM Punk got in like a fight with other guys in the company.
Yeah.
And so then CM Punk came back and they made a new Saturday night show that CM Punk was going to be on.
Right. Because he was still a draw.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, so basically they're going to like have separate locker rooms for the people who can't get along with each other, I guess.
Love that.
And so Jungle Boy, is Luke Perry's son, was going to do, they were going to film something on the CM Punk night, and they were going to do some backstage stunt with glass, and Jack Perry was like, wanted to use real glass, and people in the company, higher-ups, were like, we can use fake glass. It'll still look just as good. We don't want to use real glass. That's too much of a risk. And he was insisting on it. And some of those higher-ups went to CM Punk, like, you're a veteran. You're one of the boys. Maybe you can talk to him. And then apparently he told them they weren't going to do it. They didn't do it. And the reports get out. CM Punk stops other wrestler from using real glass.
Nice.
And then they have this show at Wembley Stadium that like sell 80,000 tickets. A fucking first time they've ever done a show in England for this newer company. It's huge.
Right.
And Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, is on having a match, and they do a thing where he's about to throw someone onto like a windshield of a car and ends up getting thrown onto it himself. And right before he does it, he knocks on the windshield and then pulls the camera in and says, "Real glass, cry me a river." Just like one of these, like attacking the biggest star in your company by bringing up some like backstage gossip that I guess some like internet wrestling fans will know, but you have 80,000 people in the stadium in Wembley. This is like the biggest show your company's ever done, and you're like taking out like personal gossip bullshit. And the next match was CM Punk, so apparently Jungle Boy gets backstage and CM Punk says to him like, "You got a problem with me?" And he's like, "I said what I said." And he's like, "I'd fuck you up right now." And they just fought like right there.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
Right in front of the boss.
My God!
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I don't blame CM Punk. If some little fucking shit did that to me, and I'm like, CM Punk's like in his 40s, he fucking killed it. He's the reason. He's a huge reason why you're able to be on this amazing 80,000 people show. He's the biggest star in your company.
Matt, you just don't know what it's like to lose a father.
Oh yes, Jungle Boy. Yeah, Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Yeah, my father's still alive. Maybe if I lost my father, I would also be that petty on a worldwide pay-per-view with 80,000 people paying to see me wrestle. I would take that moment to take out my personal gripes with somebody.
Dude. See? It all works out.
But yeah, that's wild story.
Damn, that's fucking crazy. That's awesome.
Honestly,
then so CM Punk's no longer with AEW.
AEW fired him after that.
Damn, that's crazy.
Now there's rumors he may come back to WWE.
I mean, what else is he gonna do?
Yeah.
They'll probably bring back his wife AJ too.
We'll see. I'll still keep. Me and you, I guess, are both kind of peripheral wrestling fans.
I mean, I'll read like I still like those wrestling fan pages on Facebook.
Me too. I see a lot of stuff on social media.
I'll see like an article pop up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, okay. And then like, when Bray Wyatt died and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I was like,
well,
okay.
Also, anytime anything happens in wrestling, because of how many comedians are wrestling fans that know I used to wrestle, I will get like texts and DMs about it.
Yeah.
I used to be in a wrestling group chat with a bunch of comedians, and I was like, that got a little too much for me.
It's too much. It got too damn real.
It got too damn real.
Too damn real, dude.
Yeah. But where are we at on here? We're at 48 minutes. But
not bad, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited about the transition. I hope you guys are excited too. We're gonna start having guests on. I think once we start doing more episodes, we're gonna each episode we're gonna have a new like feat of strength. We'll find like some news story from around the world. It'll still it's still gonna be me and Joe. We'll have a guest. We'll still be asking people if they've ever pulled a knife on someone.
Yeah, we're still the same old guys, dude.
Yeah.
This is just a rebranding. This is like the equivalent of like when a girl gets dumped and then she like shaves the side of her head.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, the Buff Boys is the Shave the Side of Your Head podcast.
Yeah.
The
show him.
Britney Spears Shave Your Head.
Remember that, dude? I'm glad. Do you think she's going to be re-enslaved anytime soon?
Did you see the fucking knife video
She's such a fucking retard, dude. Like she's acting like she's still like wicked hot and she's not, dude.
She's like
God, she was fucking hot.
I mean, she's not like hot like that, but she's like for a fucking 45-year-old, not bad.
Yeah, for okay, but like I mean, like I feel like she's like most like.
I mean, waving the knives around is pretty hot to me.
Yeah.
But I like crazy girls.
I don't know, but she's like doofy and she has like kids.
Yeah.
But like now that I guess like one of her kids is like 18 now, so Kevin Federline gets less child support.
Oh yeah. K-Fed was like the famous like guy who got a crazy amount of money.
He was our
divorce.
generation's Stedman. Remember Stedman, Oprah's fucking
they got
boyfriend,
divorced, right?
Well, they were never like married,
but they
like,
were
it was just like her long-term boyfriend,
right? Yeah,
Stedman.
Yeah, I always remember hearing about Stedman. I don't think I ever saw him or anything.
He always worked in the shadows, dude. That was the mystery of Stedman. It was just like oh fuck, Oprah Winfrey is like this fucking powerhouse.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So I heard that Reese Witherspoon, how like she makes like $1 billion. She has like this book club.
Yeah.
Where it's basically like for like housewives at home, and then like Reese Witherspoon will like, oh, you should read this book. Yeah. So what she does is like she recommends a book, and she works out like a deal with the author.
Yeah.
That if they see a bump in sales when she endorses his book, then she has the option to buy the movie rights from that author. Right. So Reese Witherspoon will get on her book club, make an announcement, people will buy the book, and then she has the movie rights, and then she sells it to the companies for like millions of dollars. Yeah. And her book club is all like a big tax write-off. God. So she creates like her own business, just manipulating people. And I saw this because I was on LinkedIn. Yeah. And you know how those fuckheads on LinkedIn are like, this is brilliant. Yeah. I hate that fucking work ethic, dude. I hate it when people are like, have like that strong a work ethic, not to create art or to better the world, but just to generate money. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool if we killed them, huh, Matt? Yeah, we should. We should, dude. We should go to their house, find out where they live.
Yeah, that is because I do feel like I have that like just like psycho drive competitive. I think anybody who ever did amateur wrestling is like a psycho competitor. But I've never found the way to do it in a way that makes money. Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you. Fuck people who use that to make money.
Well, like you also have to have like a lot of fucking money to begin with.
Yeah, that's true.
That's like that's like the shittiest part of all of it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's I do feel like I've always kind of probably from like playing sports, amateur wrestling growing up was like the only way I was able to be good at things was by having to work harder than everybody else. So then getting into comedy, it kind of like makes sense in hindsight that like, oh yeah, I had to create my own show and like build my own thing and whatever, and it's like, but I'm also like happy that I did that, and it's like the longer road, but I think it's more satisfying.
Yeah, I mean you need to learn the discipline.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. What about you? I assume you're not the most driven.
Oh, fuck no, dude.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. At the same time, it's like I understand that slow and steady wins the race. Yeah. And I'd rather do something consistently well. Yeah. Than, But, like, that's, like, a cool thing about comedy is it's not a very competitive field. Like, all you really need to do... Like, in the end, like, you're just competing against yourself.
Yes, that's the most annoying thing to me are comedians who are really competitive with comedy.
Because it's like, it doesn't matter, dude. Like, because, like, you also ask, like, 100 people who their favorite comedian is. Like, you're going to get, like, a bunch of different answers.
I think it's very cringy when comedians get competitive, and it's also, you have, like, fiery energy that could be used positively, but instead you're wasting it. Right. Especially in roasts and roast battles when people like get really into wanting to win and lose. It's like you want to put on good shows.
You're setting yourself up for heartbreak.
And you're also it's wasted energy.
Right.
Yeah. But it is also very like you'll hear someone talk so much about how they want to win, and it's like, did you ever compete in anything real in your entire life?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Makes you think, huh?
Really does make you think.
Is the allergies hitting you?
I didn't take Claritin.
We got a little Claritin. We got the blue box right there.
If, in hindsight, if there was any sport you could have played growing up and gotten good at, which one would you have picked?
I probably would have just fucking stuck with karate and shit.
Karate, like martial arts?
I took some martial arts when I was a kid, thanks to the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, nice.
But it was like, we were in Kansas at the time.
Yeah.
So it was just like some generic white guy and his fucking,
Gotcha.
Gus's karate and shit.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like if I grew up on the West Coast,
yeah,
I would have had like an authentic fucking Asian, instructor.
You would have gone to a dojo.
I would have gone to a dojo and it would have been like that. They would fucking beat my ass.
Yeah.
But it makes me stronger.
Yes.
You
would have been chopping wood.
Joe, listen, you're discipline.
Yeah.
I have to fucking catch a fly with chopsticks and shit.
Yeah.
I wish.
I took judo. It was like the after-school program I had offered judo, and I was very excited when I saw it because at the time I was watching WWF, and Taz was on TV, and they would always announce him when he came out and always say he was a judo black belt.
Was he really?
I think he was, actually.
That's funny, but like it didn't. You couldn't tell.
You could a little bit. Once
Really?
I learned the judo throws and all, he would do like those moves in his matches. He was the human suplex machine, and in judo is where it's all like upper body throws. So it actually, once you know judo, you can kind of see it in his wrestling.
Once you knew it, you see it everywhere.
Yeah, once you know judo, you see it everywhere. Also, my favorite thing about it was the people who do judo, they're called players.
Oh, nice.
It's the only martial art where it's like
Playa?
Yeah, judo players.
Nice.
As they call the black judokas. Yeah, judoka also is what you call someone.
Well, like there's so much of like a lot of jiu-jitsu would sync up with some wrestling.
For sure, yeah. A lot of the guys who, when I was doing pro wrestling, I trained with guys who were like old school submission wrestling. It's called catch can wrestling, the European style, and they hate jiu-jitsu because jiu-jitsu stole all their stuff from wrestling. The main Brazilian jiu-jitsu, at least, the main innovation is fighting off your back. So in wrestling, if you're on your back, you're pinned.
Right.
But all the holds in jiu-jitsu that we know under like different names, had different names in wrestling. The Kimura is a double wrist lock, but one of the Gracies who started Brazilian jiu-jitsu was beaten by a guy named Kimura, and that guy Kimura, he had learned that hold as the double wrist lock from
Chris Jericho.
From Chris Jericho and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And so like there's a few holds that in jiu-jitsu I'll like hear someone say, like I know them now, but I would hear someone say in Americana, I'm like, what? They show me, I'm like, oh, a top wrist lock. Like,
oh yeah.
Because I just learned them differently. And at the time I bought into the thing of like, we're wrestlers, we hate jiu-jitsu guys. But
the
also
figure four.
Yeah, but if you're a wrestler and you don't know that jiu-jitsu guys know how to fight off their back, you'll take them down and you'll get caught every time.
Right.
But I think if you're, I've heard like MMA guys say, if you're a wrestler and you learn how to counter those jiu-jitsu positions, you're kind of unstoppable.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah, to be unstoppable.
Do you think boxing's ever going to come back?
I don't know. I mean, the celebrity boxing does more than anything.
That's all
now.
It is now. That's all like it is now.
Yeah.
Do you think there's ever going to be like another like Manny Because like Pacquiao and Mayweather are getting up there.
Yeah.
Like and then like so would like the fucking best boxer after that be fucking Logan Paul, or would you say it would be like
Tyson Fury's still out there.
Tyson Fury's out there.
The heavyweights.
Triple G.
Anthony Triple G is another one.
Canelo.
Canelo is still out there. But
I haven't seen a whole lot of them lately.
Yeah, but even Canelo Alvarez. Not as many people know that name as like Mayweather, Pacquiao, Tyson, and any of those. Things go in waves, so it's possible it comes back. But it's I don't know. It's just not very culturally relevant anymore.
No, I think they just need like another like generational superstar.
Another big star, yeah.
Like, but like Logan Paul is like, yeah, he's like popular in boxing, but that's like his celebrity made it and popular in boxing. Like there needs to be somebody that comes up in boxing.
Yeah.
But like who is like at their core a boxer.
Do you so if you could have done any sport professionally, would it have been MMA?
No, it's too scary, dude.
Too scary. So baseball. Is that the least scary? What's the least scary sport?
Like fucking chess.
Oh, yeah. I mean, is that a sport?
Yeah, I would esports. I would have been like a fucking gamer. I guess golf.
Golf, yeah.
Yeah, golf.
Golf
that would
be
be cool.
one.
I could be like fucking what's his name, John Daly.
Yeah. I don't know. I always considered golf more of a game than a sport. It's hard.
Definitely.
It's challenging.
I mean, it is, but it's like it's a casual thing.
Yeah.
Because look how everyone reacts when you got a hole in one. They're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Like everyone treats it like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
It is impressive.
Yeah.
But I always felt like because other athletes will retire from their sport and then start playing golf.
How come
no golfers retire and then get into football?
Why don't they make mini golf professional? Because that like looks like fun, and that's still a skill.
I'm sure
mini golf would be fun. Like you got one where it's like the gorilla trying to block the hole, one with the windmill.
I'm sure there's something on some level. The way there's like something. There's people will like do. There's competitive like cornhole.
Put it on ESPN, baby.
Yeah, I've seen cornhole on ESPN.
Yeah, they got to get like mini golf. Make mini golf a fucking legit
Yeah, they
sport.
started doing it after the hot dog eating contest every year. There would be cornhole contests.
God.
Oh yeah, that's a sport you would do. Competitive eating.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah, of the major sports, I feel like that probably the easiest one, tennis or golf is enough people consider it a sport. I think tennis might be up there.
Wimbledon.
Yep.
That's like a nice white people sport, dude.
Tennis. Well, actually, worldwide, it's like a lot of Spanish people are really into it.
Yikes. But like I think like British white people
that's like where it first started. Because I did security at the U.S. Open for years, and like when Nadal won one year, we had to like bring extra security into the locker room because the Queen of Spain came through to watch him.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
Did you try to kill her?
No, I didn't. I didn't get close. Actually, I was right next to her. Didn't know it was her at first.
You could have done like some Assassin's Creed type shit.
Yeah, I mean, some woman like just walked right by me wearing like a crown and a dress, but I had no idea the Queen of Spain was there, so I didn't know who it was.
How cool would it have been if you like fucking fell in love with her and she you?
And what?
And she fell in love with you.
We fell in love with each other. We just made eye contact, and that was it.
She's like, "Who is this brute?" And they're like, "Oh, come, milady. He's not of our kind. He's not our kind." And they're like, "Hey, Maran, get back to work." Yeah. And you're like, "Oh, yeah, boss, sure." And like you look and you see her, and then like she catches your eye as like they fucking escort her into a limousine. And like, I guess I'll never see her again.
Yeah, it is.
They got you fucking. She takes you to the ball.
Yeah,
and like you teach her how to like fucking like have fun dancing. So you play like Black Eyed Peas.
I play Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah, and like everyone's like what? Like everyone looks at the DJ like, how come he's not playing classical music? And like everyone starts dancing and shit. And like the king starts like kind of nodding his head.
Yeah,
and then like, hey, wait a minute, king, you can't do that. Like, oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh damn, dude! Like what a fucking great story.
The next fucking like royal whatever they do in Spain, it's Cotton Eye Jose.
Yeah, you're in, dude.
Yeah, but it's it was funny. Like it's interesting to think back on it that whenever I watch any sporting event now and like some big athletes being like walked out to something, and you see like the security guard with the sunglasses and like the earpiece and the like serious face and the arms crossed walking behind him, it's like I was one of those people for a long time.
Nice, dude. You could still be that. Private security.
I could be. I mean, in general, that's why I stopped kind of working in security while doing comedy, was because like not being able to work nights is just so limiting to it. I would work some nights here and there, but like I was bouncing at a strip club at one point, and then it was just like, if I work 1 or 2 nights a week, I'm just like, I may as well have a job somewhere else, because that's like where I was doing day shifts at the strip club. You just make no money there.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How many people are there during the day?
Barely.
2, 3? Yeah.
I don't even know why.
You don't even have like the top shelf strippers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true too.
You know what? I kind of like that though.
Not having the top shelf strippers.
Give me a homely one.
Yeah.
Leave your glasses on.
Yeah, there weren't any that were homely there, but there were just ones that were just like, they looked unhealthy.
Nice.
Like they were skinny, but it's just,
Ooh.
yeah. like their faces were like
not the good kind of
sucked
skinny.
in.
Yeah, malnourished.
Yeah.
Sign me up, dude.
Yeah. They're like gaps in their teeth, that
Ooh,
type of shit.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, governor. Spot of tea while I squat on your face, huh?
Yeah, no, it was in Manhattan, so it would just be like finance bros on lunch sometimes.
Sick.
And then just like one creepy Indian dude.
Thank you very much. I'd like you to go poo-poo on my face, please.
So that day shift was like 12 to 6 or 7.
Nice.
And it was just maybe like 10 to 20 people could come in the entire shift. Yeah.
How much money did you make on a day like that?
I don't remember what the salary. I would make whatever the salary was, but no tip money.
Jesus.
At night you would make tip money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not even it was just like I think guys just want to like show up. We're going to the strip club. We'll tip the security. Like I wouldn't get as many. Obviously, not get as many tips as the strippers.
No, yeah.
But it's just
any little bit is nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
More so than you. Then during the day, nobody tipped ever.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah. I don't know what's the buffest job you've ever. I guess that may be my buffest outside of pro wrestler.
GNC was my buffest job.
Yeah. Bouncing at a strip club. Yeah.
My only jobs I had was I worked at GNC. I worked at like a bodega for a day, and I was like, I'm not going to fucking do this.
Yeah. We mentioned chess. I coached chess for like 2 days.
No, you didn't.
Because I was I've coached a lot of youth sports, and there was an after-school program that was doing chess. And I know how to play chess. I'm not like great at it, but I'm like I could teach kids.
I mean, yeah, you know the basics.
Yeah, I could teach kids. I know like the positions. My dad and I used to play a lot. I've seen Queen's Gambit. And then, like those kids just they were like 10-year-olds who really played chess, and they just destroyed me. It was humiliating.
That's funny.
I sat down and the kid was like, "I'm gonna do the Hungarian opening." I'm like, "Okay, I may have some problems now." And every move I made, all of his friends were like, "Why is he doing that? He's leaving his knight unprotected. His bishop's open over here." They fucking knew like everything.
Yeah, that's so and at such a young age.
Yeah,
that's wild.
And yeah, so I
but that's like their their competitive fucking like
exactly,
baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a few other coaching jobs, and I was like trying to make a schedule together, and I was gonna have to drop one. I'm like, I think I'll drop the one where the kids are better than me.
Yeah, the one where I have absolutely nothing to contribute.
Yeah, like there was like some of the kids were new, and I would be like the person teaching the newer kids.
Yeah,
but just like these 10-year-olds, those kids were so far ahead of me that like no matter how much better I get, they're going to be getting better at and they're at the age where they retain so much more. I was never going to be better than them, and they were like 10.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Jeez.
Yeah,
the whole life is ahead of them.
Yeah, but I know my dad was like really into chess, like even like watching it. He's told me stories about watching the like Bobby Fischer versus like, whatever,
like Rook to King 7. Like,
yeah,
shit like that.
Oh, when I've seen there was some movie on it where they
searching for Bobby Fischer.
Actually, kind of with Queen's Gambit, they kind of talked about it. But like, yeah, my dad's like, yeah, you would go to places and they would have like the TV on, and they were following this like Russian grandmaster playing against Bobby Fischer.
There was like that one. There was like some recent controversy with like chess tournament where they thought like a guy was like cheating with anal beads.
Yes, he was like having things vibrating in his ass, and they thought that he was maybe doing something there. Yeah, that'd be a fun way to cheat.
That's the best way to cheat.
Best way.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole thing in baseball. There was the sign stealing thing, and they thought they were using buzzers. The Houston Astros. What they caught them doing was they had a camera in the outfield that was just zoomed in on what the catcher's signals were, and then they would be able to relay it immediately to the dugout, and they would bang on a trash can. Once meant breaking ball, twice meant something else, and no bang meant fastball, something like that. And in general, there's always gamesmanship. Like if you have a runner on second base, he can see what the catcher is signaling, so he can signal to the hitter with something what's coming if they notice it. But usually when that happens, the catcher and the pitcher switch up the signs. That's when you start seeing them go like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and they'll have a thing with the pitcher. When I started playing catcher in Little League Baseball, like 11, 12 years old, I started calling the signs, which I just knew Major League Baseball players did. No one our age was doing it, but it was just like I'm not very I'm a Jewish kid with asthma. I need every advantage I can get. Yeah. And I would try and talk to the pitchers about like signs. Some of them didn't give a shit at all, but some of them we would come up with these like intricate systems of like 1, 2, and 3, and if you brush down with your glove 1, 2, you mean down 2 or up 1, like all these things that we can like do to each other to change the signs. Or I would say I'll give you a sign, and I'll give you 4 signs. It's the second sign is the pitch I want you to throw. Next inning, I would say now it's going to be the third sign, like things like that. But if there's no runners out there to see, you're not going to mix up the signs because who cares?
Yeah.
But if they have a camera in the outfield, that's kind of cheating.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah. But there's been stories of that through like baseball history. I mean, as long as people are competing, people are going to be cheating.
I feel like the history of baseball is more engaging than the sport itself.
I mean, because it's so intertwined with like American and human history. But yeah, there was like a story in like the late 1800s of like a baseball field that had a lighthouse behind it, and somebody would be in the lighthouse turning the light a certain way to let the hitter know what pitch was coming.
Sick, dude.
Yeah.
The good old days.
Yeah. They were it really is. As long as people are competitive about something, someone's going to try and get an edge, no matter what it is.
Damn, dude. Well, thank you for sharing that incredible knowledge. Thank you for baptizing the first episode of the Buff Boys.
Yes.
We did it.
It's going to be Locker Room Talk presents the Buff Boys, and then starting next week we'll have guests on, and it's the Buff Boys.
Yeah. Same Patreon, same YouTube. We're just making a couple of changes. So.
And we're going to start doing, I think we'll go back to doing the watch-alongs. And I think we did a watch-along with a bodybuilding documentary recently. We'll try and do some more of those.
Yeah. So now's a good time to subscribe to the $10 or more tier for all that extra info.
Awesome.
We'll have a full breakdown on the Patreon, and we'll send little alerts out to everyone as well.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for continuing to support us. We still need that money.
Desperately.
And now you get to donate. You get to give money to us and know that it will not go to Bobby Sheehan.
Yeah, like we're getting a bigger cut of the percentage now.
Exactly.
So it all works out.
So thank you guys for listening. Tune in next week for the first full rebranded episode of the Buff Boys.
That's right.
We don't know who the guests will be yet, but
it could be anyone.
It's going to be a fun time. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.